current stormwater coordinator for the City of Toledo. I have the great fortune of working with a fantastic team of 9 other members in environmental services that are responsible for stormwater management and protection for the city. And part of that job, not just for myself, but for our team, is working with all of the different entities in the region, including TMCOG and all of the other entities in the surrounding counties, to protect our waterways and to improve water quality whenever we get a chance that we get. Deanna?
I'm Deanna Bobak. I'm with Civil and Environmental Consultants, and I'm the project manager for this job. I'm a Toledo resident, born and raised here, grew up in Point Place. I have a special, like from a personal standpoint, my father was a charter boat captain when I was growing up, and so I have, I'm tied pretty closely with water quality issues, water quality initiatives, and it's just fulfilling work for me.
Fantastic. And then we wanted to call out our different partners that we have. So this is a grant-funded project, not a lot of money, but it's enough, and we appreciate that. So Ohio EPA, as we lovingly call them, provided the money through a 319 grant, and then that money comes from US EPA through the state to the city. And then we contracted with CEC as the consultant, and their subcontractor is ETC, which is Bethany sitting in the back. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Bethany Dale, and like Edith said, I'm with ETC, and we help with public engagement on all types of sustainability projects. And so this project is right up my alley as well. So I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you. Thank you. So I mentioned that the funding came from Ohio EPA through what we call a Section 319 grant. We often don't mention H. What we want to do with this money is use technology as much as we can to build a map so that we can find out what are the 5 highest priority sites within the city limits to put in some green infrastructure that will help with flooding and water quality. So that is what we were doing here. And to get a grant-funded project officially approved, you have to have your project in what's called a watershed plan. So we work with consultants like CEC to develop a concept for a site to say we want to put a rain garden in, or this one's going to be better through a bioretention cell, or this one might just need a bioswale. Those projects all have to get formalized, written up in a concept, and they get submitted to Ohio EPA. Their reviewer then adds it into the watershed plan for that particular watershed. Then we can go ahead and apply for funding for that specific project after it's been added to the watershed plan. So that's how that process kind of works. And you wanted to remind me what 319 is monitoring for.
Yeah, sure. So Section 319 is, it's actually from the Clean Water Act. It's money that's set aside to address non-point source pollution, which is basically pollution that can kind of come from anywhere. You can't say, oh, that's water pollution that's coming from a wastewater treatment plant or from in industry. Those are considered point sources. Non-point source is kind of like it's runoff from your parking lot, runoff from agricultural fields in rural areas. So it kind of is ubiquitous and everywhere within the world.
Right. So here's an example. We call them stormwater control measures. It's something that has been put into the community to handle the stormwater runoff. So stormwater runoff is rain, it's also snow melt. So anything that's falling from the sky that comes to the surface and runs off, basically. And our mandate per our permit is for that runoff to be as clean as possible. Obviously that's not possible. You know that you've got different components in your roofs that are coming down. There's paint flakes coming off of a house. There's oils on your driveway. So a residential community is already contributing a lot into our storm sewer. So some of the different ways that we can help with our water quality is instead of just having the water run down the street and go straight into the storm channel, you can do what's pictured here as a curb cut, but it goes into a green area. And there the stormwater is held and it percolates through the soil and returns to the water table in a cleaner fashion than it arrived from the street or off of your house or off your driveway. Okay. So here's an example of another biofilter that's got plants in it, so more formally what we call a rain garden versus just grass and a bioswale. Most of Toledo now has what we call separated sewers. So your sanitary and your storm sewers are completely separate, but the older parts of town, closer to the downtown area, are still combined sewers. So this is why we had the Toledo Waterway project. When we got those really big storm events, the system couldn't handle all the water coming to the wastewater treatment plant, and it would back up, and it was backing up with dirty water. So the Toledo Waterways Initiative put in these very large basins, 1 million gallons or larger, put in bioswales and other areas to hold that water until the wastewater treatment plant could process it. And then we no longer had any overflows into the Maumee River. So that was a big reason why the Toledo Waterway Initiative came to be, because we were having all those sanitary overflows into the Maumee River. And I think that's it for that one. Thank you. So green infrastructure, rain gardens, biocells, bioretention, bioswales are all common names for green infrastructure. It's anything that you can put in that is natural, that's pervious, that's gonna absorb the water, that's gonna let it percolate through the soil and go back down to the water table. Sometimes it doesn't go back down to the water table, it could go to an underdrain, and that underdrain carries it to the storm sewer. But it has had a chance to percolate through multiple layers of soil and stone and maybe sand, so it's cleaned up before it gets to that underdrain to get to the storm sewer. And this is out at Cullen Park in Point Place, where quite a bit of work has been done. Thank you. So this is Maywood Street. This was a project that was done back in 2010. They purposely put in biocells between the roadway and the sidewalk, so in the tree lawn. And they measured the amount of volume pre-construction to post-construction that was absorbed by these grassy areas. So the curb cut here on the side, you can see here, that's purposely designed for a lot of the water to run off into that bio area, and then it settles through the soil before it went to the storm sewer. So managing stormwater is the first thing that we want to do. We want to clean up the water, we want to improve the water quality, support biodiversity. Anytime you're making something more green, you're doing better for habitat.